Well, hi there. Thanks for finding The Profitable Photographer with Lucy Dumas here on YouTube. If you want more, you can just go to any podcast channel and find the show or go to lucydumascoaching.com, Lucy with an I, to learn more about me and to listen to shows. And thank you for subscribing, sharing with your friends, and I hope you enjoy. Bye for now. You can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. That is a quote by the amazing Zig Ziglar. I want to welcome you again. I'm excited that you've tuned in to The Profitable Photographer. And I want to let you know that I am starting a group on my sales system, the Sales Academy, and I'm starting in October 2021. So if you want info about that, send me a quick email. Just go to lucydumascoaching.com. And there will be some early adopter bonuses before we get started. So when you listen to this, if you're like, hey, but I want to get growing now, just go ahead and email me. So I'm excited to be chatting with Erin Bonilla today. She is the owner of a highly successful pet photography business in Virginia, and she'll tell you more about her studio. And what we're going to discover is how she went from those early dreams of a photography business and doing kind of some general things to discovering her golden path to success, and then how she is doing all of this. And she was one of my coaching clients 5 years ago. And so I've gotten to watch this journey with her, and I want to share her with you because I know you're going to be like, what? That's exciting. Her husband, Oswaldo, has just retired from the Air Force and has joined the business. And so their second location is being put together now to open in the fall. So Erin, thanks so much. I'm excited to talk to you today, as always. Hello.
Hi, Lucy. Thank you. Hi, Lucy. Thanks
Hi.
for having me. Hi.
You're well. Hi. So can you share a little about where you started from? I know your parents were photographers, but without going into like when you got your first camera and such, just a little about your backgrounds.
Well, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. So whenever I could make something that would be of value to other people, I've always had the desire to offer that to them and to sell that to people, whatever it was that I was making. So I was no different with photography. And I started a business in 2016 in Suffolk, where I was mostly doing real estate photography. I actually started with the realtor who helped us buy our house when we moved to Suffolk, and I worked with him a lot. I did some drone photography. I would pick up random jobs on Thumbtack and do events and some portraits and things like that. But I really didn't have much direction. I didn't really know where I was going to take it.
So was at the point where you said, I need a coach and
Yes, I said, I need to find the perfect coach. Who would that be?
huh,
And here came Lucy Dumas, and I found you and talked to you on the phone about it. And I thought it would be a perfect fit. So that's when I hired you. Exactly.
yeah. Okay, so tell me about that journey. I mean, I know all about that first, I think 9 months was our coaching, but you know what you learned, what skills you developed that has helped you be where you are now.
Yes, there were three main areas that you helped me with. Number one was a solid foundation for the business model itself. So the consultation, the shoot, the sale, um, edit, order, deliver to the client. And I wasn't aware of that model before you. So, and then also the contact with the people in regards to the model. So, to call them to schedule the consultation and how to do that and how to collect a deposit in order to make sure people show up. how to talk to them, how to set the expectations. I think you are really great at avoiding problems before they start. And that
Mm,
was one of the biggest strengths that I got from you. Um, and also, so number two was the vision for the future. You really helped me to um, be introspective about what I enjoyed and what the path was for me personally based on my passions and me, just my personal path.
right.
And the way you did that was just getting to know me. And, that one question where you asked me if I had to choose a niche, what would it be? And the income would be the same no matter what I chose. And I feel like that was a pivotal moment
Mm,
for me. So that was number two. And number three is how to sell. So, teaching me how to do the actual sales process with a client took me from getting the small little odds and ends jobs to projecting and selling for a portrait client. And like the day after I did their portrait session and selling them $2,300 worth of canvas and album based on what you were teaching me. So as soon as I found out that I could present the images to people and sell them products, I was hooked. I knew that that was what I needed to do.
mm,
And you helped me to put together the model and the process for doing it in the beginning. And actually, a bonus, you also taught me the lead collection form of direct response marketing.
mm.
And I feel that direct response marketing is a very predictable and reliable way to get clients in the door.
Can you define direct response marketing for people that don't
I
know that
will
term?
try. I will try. I will tell you what I think it means. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but direct response marketing is where you give the potential clients, you give your target market the opportunity to raise their hand and say, I am interested in your product, so that you can then go and contact them.
Right.
So that could be for a way that you collect their information. It can be a lead form. It's something that you put out into the world that invites people to let you know who they are and that they may be possibly interested in your product, and gives you their contact information so that you can then take the initiative. And I think that's the key, because it's an active marketing. It's not passive where you're just sitting back and waiting for people to contact you. And
Mhm.
I believe that's the difference.
Yes. And um, that's exactly how, that's a better way to explain it than I might have. So one of the things that I find in portraits is it is more challenging to get people to say, I need to book something now. With weddings, when I did those for 12 years, I, people need a photographer if they're planning a wedding. And my main foundation was networking with other vendors in the industry and other photographers because I only did 3 a month. So there was a limited availability of my time. But with portraiture, uh, yeah, we don't just sit there, the get your name out there or open, have a website or do a blog and think that people are going to like just knock on your door. So yeah, thank you for that.
Mhm.
What I loved was I remember in the first couple months, once we got, your foundation and your clarity and just a lot of those things built, and you had, I think, 2 sessions that paid for your coaching. And uh, that that was made me super happy knowing that I was earning my keep. And the other, and we talked about this before we started recording, is before meeting Erin, I was starting to have this really strong feeling that pet photography was a new, really viable specialty that people would pay a lot of money for as wall art. So, so I'm the kind of person that kind of senses trends. And maybe 10 years ago, I started feeling the the trend of pet photography, that I thought that high-end pet photography and wall portraits and things was a niche that was going to grow and that someone could be very successful at this. So then, Erin, when I saw your creative work that you were doing for fun as fine art with pets, with guinea pigs, that's why I suggested that to you and got this feeling that that could be what Julia Cameron calls your golden vein or your vein of gold. So before you and I were coaching, I was just getting an intuition that pet photography could be a highly profitable new niche and that people would love wall portraits of their pets. I live in a neighborhood where it's like a dog parade on my corner, and I had clients say they love their dog more than their kids now that their kids are out of the house. And then you used to do, and I don't know if you still do for fun, but for fun you used to do what we started calling animalia photography. Can you share just a little about like some of your guinea pig photos and still lifes and what
Yeah.
you were creating?
Yeah, sure. So I wanted to practice photography because I had just gotten a DSLR camera for the first time ever. And a friend of mine is a hobby farmer, and she had a lot of guinea pigs, like dozens of guinea pigs. She has goats, frogs, dogs, cats, birds, there's all kinds of critters, and she would bring them to my house. Or sometimes we'd go out on location. And we were always, super careful. It was just for fun. And we would come up with creative ideas. For example, we took a mama guinea pig and her three little baby guinea pigs and put them in cute little flower pots and, carefully with a hairpin on the back of their heads, these little flowers. So it was really cute. It's called Guinea Garden. And we did a couple of other things like that for fun, and it was great. It was the most fun that I ever had. And Lucy, you introduced me to sprayed and mounted large prints. And the first thing I did was print out a number of those. And as soon as I heard about, beautiful stripped canvases, I got a very large canvas of Guinea Garden, actually. So that's what I ended up doing with those. I used to take them to art shows, and I still do sometimes. I'll take them out. They're more like display pieces that I will use to sort of just display or show sort of a portfolio of what I've done with animals, but it's not client work. So it's more creative and,
Right,
and fun.
right. And what that indicated when I was in my 20s, I was reading something about how to be successful. And the line, and I wrote this down and saw it all the time somewhere in my house, was watch what your hand falls to naturally and keep doing more of that. And so when I saw that you were naturally doing uh, photography with animals, then I could see a path for you. And yeah, and the rest is history, right?
Like you said earlier, how when people are going to get married, they know they need to get a photographer, or that it is a new niche, relatively. I know it's been around for a while. A lot of people are doing it, especially now. It definitely is trending and becoming a lot more popular than it has been in the last couple of decades, right? Um, and so I thought that it would be really challenging to create enough demand because of the lack of knowledge. It was going to take too much customer education to convince people, for one, that we could photograph their pets, or two, even figure out how people even look for that, because it didn't seem like they would be looking for it. But that's why the direct response marketing works very well for
Right,
me, because most of the time they actually aren't looking for it because they don't
right,
know that they
right,
can get it. But I saw those challenges when you presented that, because I really didn't think that it was going to be as easy to create a business with something that customers didn't even know was something they could get. I
hmm,
saw that as a big obstacle to going forward that way. And it did take me about 6 months to let go of doing any other kind of photography, and to see enough demand response from the market, from pet owners who wanted this, for me to let go of every other kind. of genre of photography and just to specialize on the pets. So it did take me about 6 months to come on board, Lucy.
Yes, but I knew it. It's like, to me, with my coaches, sometimes they hold a vision for me that they see clearly, and they patiently guide me so that then I see it too. And but what I have to say, Erin, is the vision that you created for your business is far beyond what I initially, I was seeing you as an artist that did high-end photography with, I don't know, 40, 50, 60, 70 clients a year, making good money. But tell me,
Well, that's because I'm the entrepreneur, you
yeah,
know? I don't wanna be the one who is doing the photography. I wanna be the business owner. I wanna be the CEO. So, and that's what I'm doing, basically. That's who I am.
right, right. And that's what I love about people that are learners and growers. They keep developing their own vision. It's not a one size fits all, plug and play in this business. We get to create any way we want. So tell me about your business now. And then I have some questions on that. So I want people to know clearly what your studio's like, your staff, all that good stuff.
All right. So right now we have a 3,200 square foot studio space inside of a high-end mall in downtown Norfolk, Virginia. Right now there are 15 employees working there. We have a post-production team of 2 people full-time. We have a couple of people who are remote who do phones. We have 3 photographers, 2 salespeople, and the studio manager. We have animal handlers, and we're adding on a couple other people as well. So we have a team of people down there as well as management. We're currently photographing approximately 160 portraits a month. Our current average is $950. We're photographing at a maximum of 10 per day with the different photographers and salespeople, splitting shifts. Our turnaround time is about 3 to 4 weeks, which is incredible. We're
Yeah.
trying to maintain that and also zero mistakes, which is the pride of my studio is the post-production team. The manager of the department is she's just perfect for the job. I love her. My team is amazing. So it's the people who are down there. I've really gotten to know all of them very well, and they are incredible. They're doing a great job. And let's see. So, what else do you want to know?
Um, so, so how, like, I have so many questions on how you create a team, how you manage a team. So, and one of my questions was why you decided to have a business of this size and have this business model. I think you already touched on that you wanted to be a business owner, not a solopreneur photographer. Um, is there anything else in that of like why, like where that vision came from to be that, on that scale?
Okay. I would trace it back to learning what my purpose was back in 2016, a little bit earlier than that, before I started working with you. I discovered why I wanted to make portraits of animals, and it was not because I wanted people to buy prints of them, because that wasn't happening. So I had to figure out another reason why to do it, because, like I said, I'm an entrepreneur. So if I find something that I think people like that is going to be popular, I want to try to market it. And I tried to market the pictures because people did like them, but nobody wanted to buy them. And it was very frustrating to me. So I had to decide at that time why I would do it. And it had to be for a reason other than to sell prints of it. And I decided it would be because the world is sometimes a really crappy, crappy place. And a lot of terrible things happen. So I wanted to make the world a better place. It,
Hmm.
it sounds cheesy, but it really is my motivation for continuing to create pet portraits specifically because I think the world needs more pet portraits. When you are scrolling down your news feed, wherever that is, Facebook, Instagram, your news, whatever you do to get your information, and it's all this negativity, and then there is a portrait of three Pomeranians sitting inside of a boat in front of the beach, and they're all smiling, and it's fantastic. And it makes you stop and it makes you laugh. So I decided that that's why I would do it. I would do it to
Hmm.
bring joy to people's lives. So when you combine my entrepreneurial urge and compulsion with the purpose of bringing joy to people's lives through heirloom quality wall art pieces that will last the rest of their lives,
Hmm.
then that's where you get the vision for wanting to have multiple locations and wanting to have a larger business. Because if we're shooting 160 portraits a month, that's 160 pet owners who are going to have forever memories of their beautiful fur babies.
Hmm.
And those memories that are going to be high quality and last them forever. And the more clients that we can provide that for, then the more good we can do. The more jobs I can offer to people, the better jobs. We pay as much as we can. We offer benefits. We offer like paid sick leave, paid paternity and maternity leave, all kinds of benefits. So, we can have more jobs. So basically, it's just abundance, Lucy.
Hmm.
If it's better and more and doing more and doing the most good that we
Hmm.
can
I just
for
love that.
our employees, for our clients, for our cities and our communities, because we also send a lot of money in tax revenue.
Hmm.
We're going to be raising money for charity as well, even though we haven't started that yet. But right now we're building our team. We're really focusing on our people.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's it. And I've always wanted to be the CEO of a multiple location business ever since I was a kid. So I mean,
Ah,
it's in my heart. That's what I want to do. I
so
really believe that the world needs more pet studios.
yes. Yeah, we don't have a big one in San Diego, and there's 3 million people in San Diego. Or maybe there is, and I don't know because I don't own a dog, but I just love that, Erin. I think that knowing it's not about simply, I want to make a bunch of money, but you want to contribute to the world in this really kind of, it's like an emotional product that brings joy to people every day, and they don't even know until they have it how much it's going to
And it's a legacy for
it,
me,
it is.
because
Yeah.
they last for the rest of your life. I mean, they're going to last for hundreds of years
Yeah.
probably. And we're
Yeah.
creating 150 wall art pieces a month that are going to last for 200
Right.
years. I mean, that's
Right.
incredible.
Yeah. And that also the fact that you've and are continuing to create jobs and contributing. um People are lucky to know you, so you getting to be their boss is a contribution to me in my mind. And yeah, it's incredible. And you know how proud I am of you. uh
Well,
it,
I can tell you, Lucy, that my vision was cemented last week when I checked my security camera for my camera room in Norfolk. You know why?
why?
Because I saw a basset hound wearing a Hawaiian t-shirt being placed inside the little tiny boat so he could make a portrait for his mama. And he was so happy and he was wagging his tail and he had a little leg, a flower leg. And it makes me feel so fulfilled knowing
Yes.
that that's what I've created.
Hmm.
It really does.
Yeah. Uh,
I'm
oh,
getting emotional talking
I
about
like
it.
it. Yeah. And I get that, as I've spent my life photographing kids, and I've had situations like I had a client come back after 25 years, see if I had the negatives. She wanted to buy some prints, and she said in 25 years this was the best investment I made. Like, of everything I spent over 25 years, these portraits of my son when he was 4 and 6 are the most precious to me. That same feeling that,
It's
like,
incredible.
Yeah. And it's not about me, it's about them. So, okay. So, something I would love to ask you about. So, Erin, I know there are people who are like, wow, I'd really love to do that. And like wouldn't even know where to start. I, I can tell you where to start as a solopreneur, but as someone who has a vision of being a owner of several locations of a business, how do you get started on that? And then I also want to,
Lucy, it's really business basics. So if you think of what are the things that which the sandwich shop or Subway, right? What do they have that a small solopreneur does not have? They have a very comprehensive business plan. They have all of their systems and processes written down, and they also have good management and leadership. So, knowing your numbers, having KPIs, know what a KPI is.
what is a
A key
KPI?
KPIs are key performance indicators. So those can be thought of like the gauges on your dashboard of your car. You see your gas tank and you see that you're almost running out of gas. So what do? You stop and you get gas. A KPI is how many portraits do I have scheduled for the month of July? It is 167. So is that good? Is that bad? You can base your decisions on that. It could be, portraits per month. It could be your closing ratio. It could be your average sale, your turnaround time, customer satisfaction. So those are KPIs, right? So you have to monitor the different things that go on in your business and analyze, what's working, what's not. There's also critical drivers. So KPIs kind of tell you a little bit after the fact, but a critical driver for me is I have 2 full-time phone people. Those are critical driver to a directly related to a KPI, which is how many portraits per week are we doing.
Mm,
So, knowing those sorts of like business basics and fundamentals, you might need to look outside of the photography industry to find more information on things like that, such as a book called Scaling Up. There's also a great book called The Road Less Stupid that is very good. The E-Myth is good as well. So there are a lot of books out there in order to learn more about more of the business side of it, because that's really what I did is I wrote a great business plan. I started writing down all of my systems and processes. I started studying leadership and management,
mm,
and that's when I started building my team up even more. And where the writing down of the systems and processes has come in very handy has been when it comes to training new staff. So now, my post-production process and systems are all written out. So now when it's time to train someone, it's pretty easy to convert that into a training manual.
mm.
It's also good to look at it and analyze it, optimize it, see where it could be better, find out where your bottlenecks are in the business. And you can't do that if you don't know your numbers.
Yeah. What's a bottleneck?
A bottleneck could be like if I'm doing 160 portraits a month, but my turnaround time is 6 weeks and they're all struggling. There's a bottleneck in my customer experience and it's at the post-production process. Or a bottleneck could be where something I'm failing at, like if I'm not getting enough leads in. So that could be kind of like a bottleneck at that point. But
Right. So
it's
that,
really like a point in your process that's not flowing or it's not optimized. It's not functioning as good as it needs to
right.
as
So then
well.
it's slowing down, just like if you think of a bottle, if it was a jar, you can pour a lot of water at once. If it's a bottle with a thin neck, it limits your success at getting
Right. And there's no point in scheduling 160 portraits if I can't process all the orders
right.
or if I don't have enough staff to shoot it. Right. So
Right. Or if
that
you're,
could be another bottleneck.
or if someone's spending 25 hours a week editing one portrait session, that's a big
Yes.
bottleneck unless you're charging 20, 30, 40 grand for that one.
And I used to doubt, I not really doubt, but I wondered if I would ever get to a point in my business where there were no fires or challenges from the very, very beginning all the way to the very, very end. So I'm getting enough leads, I'm scheduling enough portraits. We have enough space in the calendar, we're shooting enough, the portraits are going well. The sales average is where it's supposed to be at, and the turnaround time is going well, no mistakes, and all the clients are happy. Like from start to finish, all the way through. Could it ever just work? And I
Uh-huh.
am happy to report that for the last 6 months, it has been working and operating smoothly all the way from start to finish with no fires and all happy clients and no mistakes, and it's been
Wow.
working really well. And I think that, with the emphasis on the processes, emphasis on policies and structure, management structure and training, is, and really when a problem arises, really getting to the root of how that problem happened in order to make sure that it never happens again.
Mm,
And doing that every single time that you have a challenge or a problem or something that's inconvenient come up, so in that way you can really smooth it out.
right. Yeah, I used to, when I was a wedding photographer, at least half the weddings I had the same assistant slash, of course, great friend. And on the way home from the weddings, we'd talk about what things went well, what things we could remember to do again. And if there was a challenge, is there a way to resolve that? Like I began to discover that the weddings were frequently late because of the hair and makeup people. So my resolution was to tell my clients to tell them they needed to be ready an hour earlier so they were ready on time. So it I continually upgraded so that things kind of, even going back to something you shared that I guess I helped you with early on, was to fix problems before they happen. So it sounds like at a scale of what you're doing, it's even more essential. Am I right in that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because, if you have one little kink in the system, now all of the sudden, instead of just affecting, three people, it's affecting 15 people. So it has to be optimized.
Yeah. Yes. So what if I can, tell me if I'm right. So early on, you got your